Should be recording now.
Is it? It's on.
All right, examination of the cervical spine. Right, so what we want to do first off, obviously, is take a look at posture and everything. So we can do that in standing or sitting. So let's have you stand first. Okay. So in standing, we want to look at the curvatures of the back. Normally, I'd have her t-shirt off here so that you can see things a little bit better, but just make do for now. So we want to see, oh, there's a little bit of flat spot in that back there. Oh, and then she's got this huge lumbar curve. And so we've got a few curves in her spine, which is good because it's not just solid, so it's going to act as a little bit of a spring action, okay? And a little bit of an inward curve at the neck. We look at from the front and look at shoulder levels. She's nice and level there. Oops, sorry. She's definitely really good there, so that's great. And then turn and look from behind. And we want to see, is her head sitting in the middle? Is it twisted off to one side? And she's looking really good. I like people that look really good. Okay, so have a seat onto the bed. All right, so posture-wise, looks really nice. So then we want to go through range of motion, active range of motion. So we can do neck flexion, which is just tucking the head forward and watching how she moves, looking for any pain or restriction there. Then we can do neck extension. Okay, and we're looking for any hinging action, which we can see a little bit of here on the row. So if we come to the side, you can see where most of her movement is occurring at the one level. Okay, most of us will have a little bit of a hinge. This isn't quite as bad as we've seen on a couple other people. So there's a hinge here, but she also does have a little bit of curvature up in here as well. Okay, back straight. Those hinges can mean that there's extra mobility at that level, so that might be a cause of the pain. So we can look at that in our pathology. Okay, turn and face away from us. The camera's back here now. And then we can look at side flexion, so we can take the ear down towards the shoulder. Okay, and then side flexion to the opposite direction. We want to look for range of motion and any pain occurring with there. You can also look for muscle tightness. Come back to the right side again for a sec. A little bit tighter on this side here. And go back down to the other side. And she is on the right side actually. She's got a little bit more range of motion. It's unusual to have you're right-handed, aren't you? No. You're left-handed, that's why then. Okay. Most likely. Turn and look over your right shoulder. Okay, and I'll see how far she comes towards the shoulder, and is there any pain? Look over to the left shoulder. How far does she come? Any pain? Should ideally be equal. And she's again a little bit tighter coming this way. Okay. Alright, so that is her active range of motion. As I mentioned last day, we don't normally do much passive range of motion. If we're going to overpressure anything at the end of the range of motion just to see if it creates any more pain, the only ones we're going to do is flexion, so tuck your head forward, okay, like that, and side flexion, so bring it here down towards the side, and like that. Just a little bit of extra pressure at the end, just to get an idea, does that create any more pain? You can get an idea for muscle tension that way as well. Does it feel kind of springy, like there's a muscle that's holding it back? Again, I don't normally do the isometric resisted testing in the neck area because there are so many muscles that are involved to stabilize everything, and it doesn't give us a clear picture as to whether it's muscle or whether it's joint, because often if it is muscle at the spine area, it's usually more a muscle that's gone into spasm that's causing the pain, which does not necessarily become more painful when you get it to contract more. Okay, so muscle spasm doesn't always create more muscle pain when you contract it. Okay, so it's usually when you stretch it actually. So the isometric tests in the neck area don't give us much information. If somebody has had a whiplash or something, I will sometimes test, for example, side flexion to see if the big upper trapezius muscle has been involved. So all I can do there is say, don't let me push your head to the opposite side. Hold. And does that recreate any pain? Don't let me push your head to the opposite side. And does that recreate any pain? Okay. But again, we're using a lot more muscles than just the upper trapezius because she has to stabilize with everything else. So it's not a very clear picture there. Okay, so let's go into the special tests. Compression. what we're going to do there is push down on top of the head, and we're looking to recreate any pain. So I got my hands just right on top of the vertex of the head, and then I'm just pushing down. You don't want to push really hard, okay? So just be gentle with it. And we don't want to push in flexion necessarily, or in extension for sure. We definitely don't want to push like that. We want to push with them in a neutral position. Okay, that's the only place that we want to do the pushing. Distraction. What we want to do there is to bring our hands up onto each side of the head. And the wording is wrong on this, by the way. I've got it, put one hand underneath the jaw and one underneath the suboccipital area and lift up. But that's not the way I tend to do it, because it can create jaw problems, and people who have neck problems often have jaw problems. So it's easier just to kind of cup over their ears. I've got my thumbs in behind the occiput, and then I'm just pushing gently in and then just lifting up. Okay, and that's an easy way to do the distraction. Okay, then we go into the myotones. The myotones are the representative muscle groups that will tell us if there's neurological weakness coming from, say, a nerve that's being pinched in the neck. So with the myotones, we're testing for neurological weakness or fatigability. So we're not testing just for one repetition muscle strength necessarily. We want to see if that muscle does fatigue. And so it's a little bit different than testing for muscle strength, okay? So the representative muscles that we're going to use, or the motions, we're going to use neck flexion for C1, okay, so C1, 2, so bring their head forward just a little bit and then ask them to hold that. Now what we want to do is hold it for about 5 to 6 seconds and see if she starts to fatigue. If she seems to start to give out there, then what we're going to do is repeat that motion, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to do this resistance 5 or 6 times, so I want you to hold, okay? So don't let me push your head back, don't let me push your head back, don't let me push your head back, don't let me push you, don't let me push you. What you're looking for is, does that motion get any weaker? If it gets weaker, then we have a fatigable muscle group, which could be caused by the neurological input not getting to the muscle groups because there's a problem at the nerve root. Okay? So C3, we're going to use neck side flexion. Don't let me push your head to the side. Again, I would hold that for that 5 to 6 seconds if it seems to start to fatigue. Or the other way I can do it, which I often do if I have a side-to-side comparison, is I'll say, I'm going to do 5 repetitions, 6 repetitions. I'm not going to just hold it that once. So don't let me push your head to the side. Hold, 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 hold. And then I'm going to compare it to the other side. Okay? Hold, 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 hold. And there's no difference in strength there. She maintains that same amount of pushability between both sides. Okay? So C4, when you use shoulder elevation, hold your shoulders up. And again, I'm just going to do 5 repetitions here. So again, hold, 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 hold. Good. Okay? C4. C5 is shoulder abduction. Don't let me push your arms down. Hold, 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 hold. Good. There's no difference there. Then, actually, no, I'll just turn this way. And for C6, I'm going to use wrist extension. Don't let me push your hand down. Hold, 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 hold. Good. Same on the other side, so I can compare sides.